My name is Daniel, and I am a forester. My life revolves around trees, their growth, their care, and their survival. My work takes me deep into the heart of the forest, where the air smells of pine and earth, and the only sounds are the rustling leaves, chirping birds, and the occasional snap of a twig underfoot. It's not an easy job, but it's one that fills me with purpose. Every day, I wake up knowing that what I do matters, not just for me, but for the generations to come. I live in a small cabin on the edge of the forest, surrounded by towering oaks, maples, and pines. The cabin isn't much, just a wooden structure with a stove for warmth and a few shelves stocked with books about forestry and nature, but it's my sanctuary. From here, I can step directly into the wilderness, ready to face whatever challenges the day might bring. Whether it's planting saplings, monitoring wildlife, or fighting wildfires, my role as a forester is to protect and nurture this land. Every morning, I start my day early. The first thing I do is check the weather report. The forest is unpredictable, and conditions can change in an instant. Then, I gather my tools, a sturdy axe, a pair of gloves, a notebook for recording observations, and a canteen of water, and head out. Sometimes, I walk for miles along narrow trails, inspecting trees for signs of disease or damage. Other times, I climb to higher ground to survey the canopy, looking for areas that need attention. Each tree tells a story, and my job is to listen. One summer afternoon, while patrolling a remote section of the forest, I stumbled upon something unexpected, a family of deer resting near a stream. The mother stood protectively over her fawn, watching me cautiously as I approached. I froze, not wanting to disturb them, and simply observed from a distance. Moments like these remind me why I chose this path. The forest isn't just a collection of trees, it's a living, breathing ecosystem, teeming with life. And it's my responsibility to ensure that life thrives. Later that week, I received a call from the local ranger station about a wildfire spreading dangerously close to a residential area. Wildfires are every forester's worst nightmare, but they're also a reality we must face. Within minutes, I was geared up and heading toward the flames. Smoke hung heavy in the air, choking the sky and turning daylight into dusk. The heat was intense, and the crackle of burning wood echoed through the chaos. We worked tirelessly alongside firefighters, digging trenches and clearing vegetation to create fire breaks. Hours turned into days, but eventually, we managed to contain the blaze. When it was over, exhaustion hit hard, but so did relief. The homes were safe, and though part of the forest had been lost, we knew it would recover in time. Recovery is a big part of my job. After fires, storms, or logging operations, I focus on reforestation, planting new saplings to replace what was lost. One project I'm particularly proud of involved restoring a section of the forest that had been devastated by illegal logging. For months, I worked with volunteers, teaching them how to plant trees properly and explaining the importance of biodiversity. Watching those tiny saplings grow into young trees was incredibly rewarding. It reminded me that even after destruction, there's always hope for renewal. Another memorable experience happened during winter. Snow blanketed the forest floor, muffling sound and transforming the landscape into something magical. As I trudged through the snow, I noticed strange tracks leading off the trail. Curious, I followed them and discovered a wounded wolf lying beneath a fallen tree branch. Its leg was trapped, and it whimpered softly as I approached. Though wild animals are usually wary of humans, this one seemed too weak to resist. Carefully, I removed the branch and examined its injury. It wasn't life-threatening, but the wolf needed rest and space to heal. I marked the location on my map and returned the next day to check on it. To my surprise, it was still there, watching me warily from a distance. Over the following weeks, I monitored its progress until it finally disappeared back into the depths of the forest. Seeing it recover reinforced my belief in the resilience of nature, and my role in protecting it. Of course, being a forester isn't without its challenges. There are long hours, harsh conditions, and moments when the weight of responsibility feels overwhelming. Illegal logging, pollution, and climate change pose constant threats to the forest, and sometimes it feels like the odds are stacked against us. But then I think about the people who depend on this land, the hikers seeking solace, the families picnicking under the shade of ancient trees, and the countless species that call this place home, and I find the strength to keep going. One of the most fulfilling aspects of my job is educating others about the forest. Schools often invite me to speak to students about the importance of conservation and sustainable practices. Children are naturally curious, and their enthusiasm is contagious. Once, after a presentation, a little girl asked me, "How old are the oldest trees?" I smiled and told her about the centuries-old redwoods that have stood tall through wars, technological advancements, and cultural shifts. Her eyes widened in awe, and she whispered, "They're like time travelers." That moment stayed with me because it captured the wonder and reverence that forests inspire. As the years pass, I've come to see myself not just as a caretaker of the forest but as a guardian of memories. Trees bear witness to history, they mark the passage of time and hold stories within their rings. I think about the settlers who once walked these paths, the indigenous tribes who revered this land long before colonization, and the future generations who will inherit it. Knowing that I play a small part in preserving this legacy gives my work meaning. At the end of each day, I sit on the porch of my cabin, sipping tea and listening to the forest settle into nighttime rhythms. Crickets chirp, owls hoot, and the wind whispers through the trees. In those quiet moments, I reflect on the day's events, the challenges overcome, the lives touched, and the beauty witnessed. This forest has shaped me in ways I never imagined, teaching me patience, humility, and gratitude. Being a forester isn't just a job, it's a way of life. It's about respecting the balance of nature, embracing its unpredictability, and finding joy in its simplicity. Some might say it's lonely, spending so much time alone in the wilderness. But I don't feel lonely, I feel connected, to the trees, the animals, and the earth itself. Now, as I look ahead, I know there will be more challenges to face and more battles to fight. But I also know that every seed I plant, every fire I prevent, and every person I educate brings us closer to a healthier, more sustainable world. And that's worth everything. The forest has given me so much, a sense of purpose, a home, and endless inspiration. In return, I give it my dedication, my sweat, and my heart. Because in protecting the forest, I'm not just safeguarding trees, I'm ensuring that the stories they tell will continue for centuries to come.